Hello, my name is Drew Bursey. Thank you for tuning in. This video will be about how to teach in Australia. So the reason why I am doing this is because I am wanting to teach in another state. Right now I'm teaching in Victoria, in Melbourne, but I'm wanting to teach in Queensland, potentially New South Wales or the Northern Territory. So I need to apply to those states. So I'm doing pretty much the exact same process as what I did in Canada, but I'm doing it here. So that's why I thought about doing this video. I've done it once, so I kind of know what I'm doing. I'd like to think so. The first question you need to ask yourself is where you would like to teach. I would recommend teaching in one of the major cities, such as Melbourne, Perth, Sydney, or Brisbane, because that's where there's a lot of people. There's two companies that hire international teachers. I have worked for both of them. One is Tradewin Australia and the other is ANZ UK. Both are great and I would recommend either of them. I started off with Tradewin Australia. Tradewin Australia is only in Melbourne. So if you want to teach to other states, then Tradewin is not your option. The reason why I switched to ANZ UK was because I wanted to teach in another state, and I thought it would be a whole lot easier to go with a teaching agency that already works there than to apply by myself. There's two agencies, Tradewin or ANZ UK. If you want to teach in another state, ANZ UK is definitely the way to go. I wouldn't say one's better or worse. They're really great. But yeah, it depends what you want to do. Essentially, with any of the agencies, you're going to be applying the same way because you need to show your documentation, your proof of ID, police check, things like that. But there's kind of, like up until now, I kind of only mentioned there's two companies, and that's true, but I actually didn't apply through Tradewin or ANZ UK. I applied with Leading Out. And Leading Out is a Canadian company that gets money based on referrals to Tradewin. So if Leading Out hires a teacher and they think that they're a good teacher, they'll send them to Tradewin, and then Tradewin gives them a certain amount of money. I had a bunch of friends from university and they all went to Australia with Leading Out. So I will talk about my interview process with Leading Out. I'm assuming that it'll be pretty much the same. If you were to apply independently, once you get the hiring process, they would want you to be certified so that they can make money off of you. If you don't care where you want to live, then Tradewin is a pretty good option because you can apply through Leading Out. The really good benefit of applying with Leading Out is that you can call Leading Out whenever. They're in the same approximate time zone as you are in North America. If you have any questions, you can email and then set up a time to call. Whereas if you were to apply with Tradewin or ANZ UK directly, they're like 16 hours ahead of you. So you need to coordinate when they are in the office and when you are awake. So it's just another minor inconvenience. So the application process. Okay, so if you want to go through Leading Out, you can see their link in the video description. You apply, send in a picture, send in a little blurb about yourself, what's your experience, what you like doing. If you're accepted, then you'll have an interview. They'll call you and make an interview time over Skype. And then I had an interview and the interview went well, and I was told that I'd get some stuff in the mail. It would tell me a lot more information about how to apply, opening up bank details, places to stay, some tourist information, things like that, and also how to apply. So once you get accepted by Leading Out, they will book a time for you to apply for your visa. It'll be a working holiday visa. You're allowed to leave and enter the country as many times as you want, as long as it's for a full year. So I was on the phone with a guy from Leading Out going through the process with the visa. And that was a really helpful process. There are some things that he told me to write down so that ideally it would go faster. He was on the website saying like, okay, do you see this? And I'm like, yes. He's like, okay, click that. So yeah, it was a big help and it was really easy. My visa got accepted in like 30 seconds after I applied. The application process, I would say, maybe took like an hour. I don't think it really needs to take that long, but when you're with somebody talking, you talk more when there's somebody to talk to. And I think that'll be my other video, why I think everybody should have a working holiday visa in Australia, and farm work and things that you can do. Once again, I'm not sure what other states require to teach in other states, but it's pretty similar to my first process. The documents that you need is a criminal records check, passport, formal qualifications, your transcript, and statements of service. That's just where you taught. If you're a graduate, then that doesn't apply to you. You need your practicum days. The criminal records check needs to be done by the RCMP, so it costs a little bit more. I think mine costed about $100 and something. That takes a relatively long time. Once you make the decision to go to Australia or to another country, you need to do the documents as soon as possible and get them all printed and verified, because it can take a long time. Like, you don't want to book your plane ticket and then find out that you can't work as a teacher because your documents haven't passed. So you want to get it done and over with as soon as possible, so that if there are any issues, then you can deal with them accordingly before you go to that country. In Victoria, it's a little different from state to state, but Queensland are required passport, visa, formal qualifications, transcript. That's pretty much the same thing. However, Victoria required a primary document and 2 secondary documents on top of your criminal records check and transcripts. So a primary document is a document with photo ID. So it can be your passport, driver's license, your PAL, something with photo ID. A secondary ID would be your bank statement, your credit card, bank card, something that has your full legal name but does not have a picture. Leaning Out told me to have as many copies as I could of primary ID and secondary ID. The reason for that is, if for whatever reason one of my documents fails, they have another document that is right there and ready to get processed. So if I only had one primary ID, let's say for whatever reason my passport didn't pass, then they would send me an email or a letter, which would take a month, saying, unfortunately, you did not pass. There's some documents that need to be revised. Send them in again. And so now you need to send them in again. It just takes way longer. So send in more than what you need. And then even if you have a few that fail, you'll still pass. I sent my passport, my driver's license, birth certificate. So that's 3 primary IDs. You only need 1, but I sent 3. Then I sent my bank card, bank statement. I think that's it. So I only sent 2 secondary IDs, but I sent 3 primary IDs, as well as my criminal records check, my transcripts. It's better safe than sorry. It's a bit of a pain printing off the documents and getting them verified, but it's worth it doing a little bit more just in case something fails. So your documents, they have to be verified by someone who's on the list of authorized witnesses. It's on Google. You can just search list of authorized witnesses. If you're getting hired through Leading Out, then that information is in their pamphlet. But I'm assuming if you apply with ANZ UK or Tradewin directly, they would give you that information because they want you to be hired the first time and not take a long time. Some of them include nurse, dentist, legal practitioner, optometrist, judge, police officer, I believe. There's a lot. Find somebody you know, get them to sign to verify your document. Print a copy of your legal document, both sides, and then write, I have cited the original document and I certify this to be a true copy of the original. So you need to do that every single page. It's a little bit of writing, but that's what has to happen. I actually was told to print all my documents twice and to get them verified twice, just in case something happens, like they get lost in mail or something like that, and then I don't need to get somebody else to verify. I can already send them off to Australia or the country that I'm teaching in instead of doing the whole process again. Print them off twice, better safe than sorry. Also, I would date it and write their occupation just so that person verifying them does not need to write anything. You literally just show your actual ID and then they're like, yeah, okay, next sheet, next, and it's an easy process. They have a full-time job and I'm pretty sure they don't want to be writing stuff that you should have written down before. Once everything is verified, you send it off by mail with expedited shipping. That kind of costs a lot of money. I think it costed me like $70 or $80, but that's what has to be done. Spend a little bit of extra money and it'll get there faster and you'll be able to teach sooner. And then you just wait until you get certified. Depending on how soon you will go to Australia, you can either say, send my teacher registration card in the mail to Canada, or send it to Australia, and the call center that you were hired with, they will hold on to it until you get there. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any more questions about teaching in Australia or living in Australia, feel free to comment and ask some questions. My next tips and tricks and lessons learned kind of video will be about farm work and why I think everybody should do farm work and stay in Australia for 2 years. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Stay safe, everybody.